in the face of this community scourge. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Goldsboro City Council does hereby proclaim the month of February 2026 as Black History Month in the city of Goldsboro and encourage all citizens to observe this month by participating and supporting all festivities celebrating the proud heritage of African Americans. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the seal of the city of Goldsboro, North Carolina, the second day of February 2026. Ms. Guest, would it be modified to be the February 9th, or would it remain as part of the? Okay, if you would, let's modify it to be the February 9th, and then I'll re-execute. All right. Next, while I get a sip of water and try to get my voice back, Mr. Livingston, if you would please take item 4.2.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank you and the members of the council for giving me a moment to recognize the work and dedication of our city employees throughout the past storm, I think Winter Storm Gianna. We really kind of got a pretty big dose of Mother Nature last week, and actually Monday we were probably all at home trying to not get into the weather. So, but I just really feel like our team did a great job, and it was recognized by others, and I felt it was important for us to recognize the employees this evening that really helped make it happen. We really kind of went out of our normal mode of operation, because not only was the storm rather unprecedented, but we used a lot of our public communications tools to really get the messaging out there. And I think I want to thank the citizens for not getting out, and they listened and made our jobs a little bit easier. But while public safety often gets noticed, and rightly so, sometimes our public works crews who do the brunt of the hard work every day, sometimes it goes a little bit, I want to say underappreciated, because I know it's appreciated, but it goes not noticed. But I really wanted to take the time to notice them today, especially our streets department, who really was very, very proactive in getting out and salting the streets before they before the storm came, to help with the melting, and specifically getting out there afterwards and taking care of a lot of the NCDOT streets, because NCDOT was stretched thin. The storm covered the entire state. Again, that's rather unprecedented, and we had probably somewhere from 8 to 10 inches of snow, and we improvised our equipment and made it work for us, and they stayed sun up to sundown, making sure our roads were safe and we didn't have any fatalities or injuries that I was made aware of. So I think that was just a win-win all the way around. So just wanted to take a moment, and I'm going to introduce Jamie Stanley, our Public Works Director, who can talk a little bit more about his streets division.
Good evening, Council. How are you?
Yeah.
We had a successful mission on our snow challenge. Luckily, things worked out just as we planned it. We have a plan for significant snowfall. We have a zoned map, and we have 4 plows, and all 4 plows are working. And we also had a motor grader, a front end loader, and a backhoe out pushing snow everywhere we could. This is Chris Mooney. He's our streets supervisor. This is David Lee. He's our stormwater supervisor. And between them, we have 2 trucks in each division. So we had a combination of both sections working hard. Chris actually did run the motor grader downtown and down Collar Best and down New Hope and down Wayne Memorial. So we did backfill DOT a little bit. But the main thing is we were safe. We had a plan. We were prepared. Our salt treatment worked really well. We got it out before the snow started falling. And luckily we had no rain beforehand to wash it away, like a lot of times happens here. But all in all, my guys were very dedicated. We had maintenance support, because each day when you're plowing requires replacement of some of the parts of the plow, because it's in contact with the road, so it wears out. And but we really had a good showing, and I couldn't be prouder of their effort. And just thanks for the recognition. Any questions?
So Matt, if you would highlight, we're incredibly grateful for the work that DOT does around here. I mean, they're incredible partners. This is in no way a slight on anybody, but when you get a storm of that magnitude that impacts the sheer geographic scope that was impacted, their equipment wears out, their equipment starts to break, and then you guys end up picking up the slack. And I just want to go on record as saying to Mr. Lewison, if you'd like to give any other details, you guys also picked up some roads that are not necessarily ours.
That's correct.
Because it had to be done to make sure that we could get through these major corridors safely. And again, Mr. Lewison, if you want to add any detail, but I do want to make sure that is highlighted. That is a part of what this city team does.
And we were kind of aware of that because we were in communication with DOT. We worked together closely. But Kyler Best and New Hope and Wayne Memorial are DOT routes. And they did plow them, but the snow hadn't stopped falling when they did. And so we kind of backfilled them, and those are some critical streets for us. I think and we had our motor grader. So we're using stuff we're just using everything we had at our disposal to try to make a difference. And I noticed the traffic was light. It was good to happen on the weekend. We did make a good lick on Sunday. And it just was great to, by Monday, be in the neighborhoods. I'm not sure we got every single street in town, but we were pretty close. And but these guys made it happen in their teams.
Yeah, I think they did outstanding, and that's why I wanted to recognize them. And basically, all the employees that were involved in this, Latoya Henry, our public communications officer, really put out some excellent communication throughout the whole event. And you, Mayor, for the public messages that you put out there. They were well received by the citizens in the community. So it's a good job by all, and I just sometimes think that we need to acknowledge that when it happens.
And just as a citizen, your videos, all the work Latoya did, I thought we did a good job communicating. I thought the What's Up Goldsboro comments were subdued and restrained, which was fun. And I learned it when you're on camera with the mayor, you need to hold the phone because he's a camera hog. So you learn stuff every time. So
it's good you could point out those extra little value adds right there.
I thought that was a great communication tool, though, especially the first ones when it was really more dangerous for people being out and saying stay home. I mean, sometimes it's hard, and when you're not at work, you feel kind of guilty. I should be at work, but these guys didn't feel guilty because they were there. And we just hopefully don't have another foot of snow anytime soon, but we will still respond in the same way.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
I felt like the timeliness of that. So, Mr. Lewison, thank you for requesting the opportunity to be able to bring employees up and highlight that it's people that are actually doing the work. It's not the government. It's a collection of people who actually have to get out and put on the coats and get in the trucks and go do the thing. And it's easy for us to forget that there are people behind every one of these stories. So thank you for doing that.
And they don't necessarily like coming up here, but they did anyway.
Yeah, thank you. Next, something that is a very unique treat. A proclamation celebrating the achievements of Jaron Reed. Now, a lot of folks in the room already know who Jaron is, but he is also now a Super Bowl champion. The Seattle Seahawks played a phenomenal game last night, and anyone who was watching knows he got double teamed most of it. And he still made an impact and got one of the most animated sacks I think I've gotten to see in a Super Bowl. So, fantastic work! Congratulations to him. But we as a city also want to call attention and offer a proclamation. This will be delivered to his mother, and then obviously we are in discussion about a way to properly recognize him at his convenience back here in town. So that will be fun. So, proclamation celebrating the achievements of Jaron Reed. Whereas Jaron Cantrell Reed, born on December 16, 1992, was raised in Goldsboro, North Carolina, where he attended and graduated from Goldsboro High School, demonstrating outstanding athletic ability, leadership, and deep community pride that helped lay the foundation for his future success. And whereas after his graduation in 2011, Jaron Reed continued his academic and athletic career with determination and excellence, first at East Mississippi Community College, where he helped lead his team to championship success while exemplifying commitment, work ethic, and resilience. And whereas Reed's football talents earned him the opportunity to play at the University of Alabama with the Crimson Tide, where he was a key contributor to the team's college football playoff national championship in 2015, and further established himself as a leader and elite defensive player. And whereas in the 2016 NFL Draft, Jaron Reed was selected in the second round by the Seattle Seahawks, launching a professional career marked by tenacity, consistency, and excellence on the defensive line, earning respect across the league in multiple seasons with Seattle and stints with the Chiefs and Packers before returning to the Seahawks. And whereas Reed's dedication, perseverance, and leadership culminated in the ultimate achievement in professional football as an integral member of the Super Bowl 60 champion Seattle Seahawks, bringing pride and national recognition to his hometown of Goldsboro and inspiring countless young athletes to pursue their dreams. And whereas beyond his on-field accomplishments, Jaron Reed has remained deeply connected to Goldsboro, giving back to the community through youth football camps and mentoring local students and athletes, serving as a role model of character, commitment, and service. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Goldsboro City Council does hereby honor and commend Jaron Reed for his outstanding athletic achievements, his enduring commitment to excellence, and his representation of Goldsboro on the Super Bowl 60 national stage. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hands and affixed the seal of the city of Goldsboro, North Carolina, this the 9th day of February 2026. And we do offer a huge congratulations to him. And I know there were folks having an absolute blast at Goldsboro High School last night at a watch party. And just a huge congratulations on a phenomenal career, a championship at pretty much every level. Now, we having completed recognitions and presentations, we will move into public hearings. Mr. Livingston and Ms. Getz, I'm going to need y'all, and Ron, you as well, I'm going to need y'all to make sure that I'm staying on track because some of these are continued from previous, some of these are continued from a previous meeting, and I want to make sure that I am following protocol correctly. So please correct me where I misstep. I will not be offended. We'll begin with item 5.1 is conditional zoning 425 for Tucker Trace. Mr. Livingston, do you have a brief or would you like me to go directly to, I think I saw Mark. Mr. Helmer, if you would come forward.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. So the first case before you tonight is conditional zoning 04-25 Tucker Trace. This case originally went, well, let me start by saying this was a proposed 120 lot residential subdivision with a commercial component to the front, towards the front of the property along Tommy's Road. This property is located on the south side of Tommy's Road between US 117 North and Dean's Lane. This case originally went to Planning Commission in September, then to Council in November. It was then postponed or continued till the January City Council meeting, and then the applicant requested an additional 30 days to address comments and concerns from the neighbors. The applicant has since then submitted a revised plan for our initial review, for Planning Department's initial review. We've reviewed that plan and made a determination that substantial changes have been made from the plan since it was originally heard, and therefore planning staff is recommending, and the applicant has agreed to withdraw their case. So City Council has requested to close the public hearing and honor their request to withdraw the case.
Okay. Then, Mr. Helmer, if it is appropriate, I will reopen the public hearing. If there's anyone that does, even though it's just been publicly stated that the request was to withdraw the application, and asking council to honor that request to withdraw, if there's anyone who would like to come forward and speak, we'll honor their time since they did come in front of us. We'll close the public hearing, and then you need an official motion, I assume, to allow the withdrawal. All right, perfect. Well, then with that, we will reopen the public hearing. 5.1 on our agenda, item CZ 425, Tucker Trace. Again, this one has already been stated that there is a request to withdraw, but if there's anyone to come forward and speak, we'll honor their time. Second call, anyone to come forward and speak on item 5.1. Third and final call, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Council, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the withdrawal of the application under CZ 425.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded to accept the withdrawal. Is there any debate?
Just a quick
Yes,
question.
sir, please.
Is whether or not we deny this with or without prejudice is probably a question for the attorney. Is that relevant on quasi-judicial, or is that only relevant on legislative?
Well, this one here is legislative since it's a zoning issue anyway. So it is not relevant here, so that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
All right. And again, this one, at this time, the motion on the floor is to accept the withdrawal, which would not be a denial, it would purely be a withdrawal.
Yes. It's just a withdrawal.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded. Is there any further debate? Hearing none, we will call the vote. All in favor, please vote by show of hands. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Next, we will move to item 5.2. This is a special use permit, which means we do have the 4-motion test that I'm sure council members will remember from previous instances. There's a little guide sheet in front of everybody if you need a refresher. Mr. Livingston, do you have any comments, or am I going directly back to Mr. Helmer?
Just go back to Mr. Helmer, please.
Mr.
Mayor.
Helmer, if you'd come back and just refresh our memories on SU 1025. All right, Mr. Tuttle.
Good evening, Mayor, councilmen and women.
Good evening.
This is a new proposal for us tonight. This is SU 1025 for a special event center, a place of entertainment with ABC. And before we start, let me
You
get
need to be
this.
sworn in on special use. Yep. I'm glad I'm not the only one that forgets the technicalities and like the specifics.
All right. So if you'll pay attention to our monitors this evening and to your packet, this property is located on the west side of North Center Street between West Mulberry and West Walnut Streets. Most of you will know this as the former Artisan Village there on Center Street. We do have the applicants, Bear Creek Plantation, LLC, care of Miss Jennifer Strickland and her wife, Judge Billy Strickland. They're here tonight. You'll hear from them as we move through this presentation. Let's see. Again, we know the owner, the applicant. Current zoning is the Central Business Zoning District. Existing land use is an existing building and lot formerly operated as the Artesian Village. The land use designation is mixed use downtown. Again, we know that the request is for a special event center with ABC at 123 North Center Street. Days and hours of operation are going to be anytime between Monday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. And again, this will depend on the event, what type of event it is, and the reservation details, of which Ms. Strickland will provide you with more information. The approval criteria for this place of entertainment, because it's in the CBD, there are certain exemptions to the rule. But in particular, I'll just highlight a couple. That there shall be no minimum separation distance from residentially zoned or developed property, and that a 50-foot separation distance shall be required for freestanding churches and schools. There shall be no more than 2 such establishments located per city block. Number 3, there shall be no minimum separation distance between 2 such establishments. There also shall not be no minimum off-street parking requirements. And lastly, outdoor activities associated with the place of entertainment must specifically be approved as part of any associated review and approval process. At the time of review, the reviewing body may impose conditions on any outdoor activities as necessary. Moving forward. According to the applicant's submitted written narrative and floor plan, the proposed event center will be a place of entertainment available for users to reserve the commercial space for birthday parties, anniversaries, wedding receptions, retirement parties, private and non-profit socials, etc. It will consist of a large assembly hall, a bar space, audio-visual sound room, office spaces, restrooms, meeting rooms, storage areas, and a caterer's kitchen. At this time, we have approximately 60 private parking spaces located at the rear of the site, with access from North James and Mulberry Streets. If the special use permit is approved, the site will be required to meet the development regulations of the City of Goldsboro. As well, a building permit and final inspection will be required for the upfit of the existing tenant space to ensure that all life safety codes have been satisfied before occupying the facility. As you see here, here is the building on Center Street being north and south, with the building outlined here and the parking space in the back along James Street.
That is a much better pointer than what we had last time.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll credit IT this morning, showed that to us and has introduced this as a new tool, so we're very thankful
I
for
don't
it.
feel nearly as blinded.
Very good, very good. Thank you, IT. I know this is a little bit difficult to see, but all those spaces that we've talked about before, the large assembly hall up front, this is the entrance again along North Center Street with the large assembly hall, the bar space area up here, some office spaces, gang bathroom, restroom facilities, audio-visual rooms, a caterer's kitchen, etc. We have, the planning staff have reviewed the request in accordance with the city's UDO and comprehensive land use plan. We find no objections to the proposed use. At this point in time, Mayor, Council shall vote on each of the 4 findings that you'll have in your packet in order to determine if the special use permit shall be issued. But before then, again, we'll have comments from any other person wishing to speak or give testimony to do so. Again, I do know at this time that Ms. Strickland would love to speak on behalf of the proposed center, and I think this is all of our presentation.
Then it has been our practice to invite the applicant up to come and speak and hear any and answer any questions that council may have, and then open the public hearing. And so with that, if the applicant would like to come forward, Mr. Yep.
Thank you all today, this afternoon. I am Billy Strickland, not the wife of Miss Jennifer, but the husband of Miss Jennifer. And so basically we're here to see if y'all have any questions about it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but if anybody had any questions, I'd be glad to address it. I will say, I was trying to remember, the parking is actually not 60 spaces. I think it's closer, a little bit over 80 spaces. So plenty of parking spaces. As far as the exterior stuff, we were thinking about, especially drawing businesses to downtown. And we will be doing some outside events. What we were thinking about doing, if you notice right here, is a concrete petition. So something like a food truck rodeo could be on the interior, car show on the exterior, and then open the building up for artisans and things like that as a weekend bash of getting different people from different walks of life down here. So that'll be something that we're talking about doing interior, but everything else is exterior, but everything else is interior. So is there any questions that you guys might have? I will say, because I'm the elected Superior Court judge, according to the judicial standards, I've handed over all the companies to everything to Jennifer. But I am allowed. Yes, so I'm really nice to her now. But I am allowed to help in management and some overseeing it. So that's why you'll be seeing me some as well as my wife.
Absolutely.
So, any questions, comments, or concerns?
Council, any comments or questions for the applicant? If any arise, we can always invite them back up to the podium.
Well,
All right.
I appreciate your time and consideration. Hope we can get this approved. Thank you.
If y'all have a seat, then we'll open up the public hearing. All right, everybody. This is item 5.2 on our agenda, SU 1025, a special event center on the west side of North Center Street. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak, please approach the clerk. Second call, this is item 5.2 on our agenda, SU 1025, Special Event Center. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak, please approach the clerk. Oh, please. If you would approach the clerk, please. Good evening.
First time coming to a city council meeting.
Welcome.
My name is Sean, by the way.
with the political climate that occurred a couple of years back, it made me sort of want to dive deep into the local politics. It's my first base in the military, my first duty location. So I do like the city of Goldsboro, and I'm glad that I'm here. I just had a couple questions about the codes and the laws of like zoning. The first question I had was, do the codes mean something, or are they sort of just random to whatever the situation is? So like, for example, the CZ4-25, like, is that a specific code for something?
Well,
I can answer that.
I do. Yes, it does
Yeah,
mean
he's
something,
sworn in,
and yes,
so.
we do want to keep it specific. Also, because this is special use, we have to be a little bit tighter and make sure the questions are specific to
Okay.
this particular case. But, Mr. Lawrence, I assume it's okay to answer like the titling of these things, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. Well, would you like to ask your questions, and then we'll invite Mr. Helmer up to answer them, or should just bring him up?
If there's a period where like we can ask questions, I'm willing to wait. I just
No,
didn't know how it
this
worked.
is that. This
Okay.
is yeah. You're expressing your concerns, and then allowing us the opportunity to then call experts back up to be able to answer them. That's exactly what a public hearing is for. That's exactly what a public hearing is for. The naming, I'll go ahead and say CZ425 literally stands for conditional zoning, and then 4 is if I'm not mistaken, the fourth item that came, and then year 25.
Okay.
And it's SU10, like this one is SU1025. SU just simply stands for special use.
Okay.
Yeah. And Mr. Talton, you're nodding your head, so I think I got that right.
Okay, then the last question I had was, who makes the zoning laws, and can it be changed? Meaning, who has the power to make a residential, like for example, who has the power to make a residential area an agricultural one if they wanted to? Like, who says that this is going to be this, that, and the third? Do we
Sure.
vote on that? Is it a...
And that's permissible?
Sure.
All right.
I mean, I think that we're outside the bounds of the public hearing for this particular thing.
Right.
We're trying to assist and answer his questions. You can certainly do that now.
Okay.
You could always
As long as I'm
you
not doing
you have to
anything-
go to the office and have him sit down and talk to you one day.
Yeah.
Or something like that, as opposed to the public hearing itself for this particular item.
Okay.
Which is why we're here, just for that particular item.
Yeah. But absolutely. So to answer your question, and then I certainly will invite you, to come sit down with myself, manager, any member of planning staff. But inside the city, we have our ordinances dictate certain parcels, certain pieces of dirt all over the city that are zoned with the intention of them being different things. So it might be residential, commercial, or industrial. In the case of residential, it might be high density residential. It might be, tall, dense apartments, or it might be single family small lot or single family large lot. It could be a lot of different things, but we try to lay out what's called a comprehensive land use plan so that everyone knows on the front end what they should expect any particular lot to probably develop as. If someone wants to change the zoning for that lot, they work through planning, they file an application, and ultimately they go through the steps, and then it comes before city council. And city council has the authority to look at something and say, is currently zoned agricultural, but it's time for this to become industrial or residential or commercial. And then we would hold basically a public hearing just like this for what's called a zoning change. And then we would ultimately vote on it. So yeah, inside the city, this is the legislative body that does that. If it is within Wayne County but outside of the limits of the city of Goldsboro, assuming it's not in Mount Olive or Pikeville or somewhere else, if it's just in what's called unincorporated territory, then it would be actually the county commissioners that have the authority to set zoning in some of those places.
Okay. So if I wanted to just give my input, I would come here as we're doing now and do that.
Yeah. Now this one is specific to this specific business item. But in the case of like a comprehensive land use plan, we actually just went through a very robust process of trying to lay out we're in the middle of our comprehensive land use plan of laying out what seemingly would fit in different parts of the city, where there needs to be development that avoids the flight line for Seymour Johnson, as opposed to parts of the city that could support more dense urbanization in areas. But let's, for that conversation, if you're interested, you've got some folks around here that would very much like to share with you this, because it may be a next career for you. Look, I'm looking at all options here. Let's make time to sit down. Before you leave, get Mr. Talton's business card or phone number, and let's make a time to sit down and kind of talk through how this works. And if you have anything specific on this or any other item coming before council under public hearings, we certainly do want to hear it.
Thank you guys so much.
Sure. All right. Is there anyone else to come? This will be third and final call. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on item 5.2 SU 1025? Seeing none, we will close that public hearing and we will go back to council. Council, are there any remaining questions or comments on SU 1025, or are we prepared to move forward with the 4 motions for special use permits? Hearing no comments, I will entertain a motion that the use would not materially endanger the public health or safety.
So moved.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Ms. Getz, you good? All right, we'll vote by show of hands still, I presume. All right, all in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes. At this time, I'll entertain a motion that the use would not substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting property.
So move. Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Just pause for me. Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor, please vote by show of hands. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Madam Getz, or Madam Clerk, please let me know when the vote is registered. All right. The third motion will entertain a motion that the use would be in harmony with existing development and uses within the area in which it is located.
So
moved.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded that the motion would be, that the use would be in harmony. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor, please vote by show of hands. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. And then lastly, I'll entertain a motion that the use would be in general conformity with the City of Goldsboro's comprehensive land use plan.
So moved.
Motion, second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded that that the use would be in general conformity with. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by show of hands. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. All right, having passed all 4 motions, SU 1025 is granted. All right. Thank y'all. All right. Ms. Getz, let me know when you are ready, and we will slide to 5.3. Mr. Towson? Mr. Helmer? If you would, Mr. Helmer, if you come back up. Man.
Thank you. This next case is the first special use permit of 2026, and it's the applicant is requesting an accessory dwelling at 100 Plantation Road. The property is approximately 26,312 feet. Right.
I remember that time I was in the process of pointering.
All right. So.
All right. SU 126, Mr. Helmer.
Thank you. So Kim Henderson is requesting an accessory dwelling on property located at 100 Plantation Road. This is a 26,312 square foot piece of property, zoned R20. The existing land use is a single family dwelling. She's requesting a special use permit to allow for an accessory dwelling in the unit, accessory dwelling unit in the rear yard of her principal structure. In your packet is a copy of the map showing the general layout of the property. Property is on R20. According with the City of Goldsboro's Unified Development Ordinance, Article 5.4, Table of Permitted Uses, accessory dwellings are permitted in all single-family zoning districts or developed lots with the exception of agriculture. And this is insert from the actual permitted use chart. The applicant has presented a site plan showing the proposed location. So this is the existing house here with the existing outbuilding, a garage, and then the proposed 710 square foot building will be located behind the principal structure. The front of the proposed structure, or the principal structure, is Livingston Drive. The applicant has also provided us building elevations showing that the proposed structure is consistent with the architecture of the principal structure as required by the Unified Development Ordinance. In addition, the following are approved criteria for the proposed use. Accessory dwellings must comply with all applicable local, state, and federal housing codes. The accessory dwelling or accessory apartment shall not exceed 40% of the square footage of the livable area of the principal structure, which it does. An accessory dwelling shall be sited to the rear of the principal structure, which it is. The exterior of the accessory dwelling shall be compatible with principal residential residence in terms of color, siding, roof pitch, windows, detailing, etc., which it does. Where there are no public sanitary sewer service to the accessory dwelling, county health department shall approve sanitary sewer services provided to such dwellings before construction begins. Next slide. So, planning staff finds the request consistent with the R20 zoning district and complies with the supplemental standards of the UDO. Therefore, planning staff has no objection to the request in accordance with the finding of facts for a special use permit. Therefore, the City Council is requested to review the petition and make a decision in accordance with the finding of facts for a special use permit to allow for an accessory dwelling unit. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have, sir.
Council, any questions for Mr. Helmer at this time? Hearing none, it's our practice that we then invite the applicant up. Is the applicant present?
I do believe so.
Sure. If the applicant would like to come up and just offer any other commentary that may have been missed in the brief, and then if there's any specific questions from council, and then after that we'll proceed with the public hearing. Yes, sir. All right. And if you would please approach the clerk.
Hi, I'm
Welcome.
Kim Henderson.
Okay.
This dwelling is going to be a cottage for my parents. I moved to Goldsboro about 4 years ago. I love it. I moved here from Los Angeles, California. So, and it's great. There's no traffic, and your public utilities or your crew that you recognized, I thought they did a great job. It's very interesting. I work for a company up in New York, and we have about 50 snowplows. So it was really wild to hear you only had 4 in Goldsboro. But of course, they have a lot of snow up there. Anyway, this property is a really great neighborhood. It's in Fallingbrook, and I think that they would be really happy there, and I'd really like to have them right next to me as they get older, so that I can be there for them. So that's what this property is for.
Council, any comments or questions? Hearing none, you can return to your seat, and if any other questions arise, we'll pull you back up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Council, are there any comments or questions for staff, or are we ready to proceed with the 4 motions? Yes, sir.
I haven't opened the public here for somebody else.
You're right, I need to do that. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak, I apologize, my head is a little bit cold medicined up. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak, we will open the public hearing for SU 126. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak on SU 126, please approach the clerk. Second call, anyone wishing to come forward and speak on SU 126, please approach the clerk. Third and final call, anyone wishing to come forward and speak, please do so on item 5.3 on our agenda, SU 126. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. And now, Benadryl permitting, we will move forward with the motions for special use permits, unless there are any other comments or questions from council. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion that the use would not materially endanger the public health or safety.
So moved.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll vote by show of hands. All in favor, please show your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Motion number 2, will entertain a motion that the use would not substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting property.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote by show of hands. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Number 3, I'll entertain a motion that the use would be in harmony with existing development and uses within the area in which it is located.
So moved.
Motion's been made and properly seconded that the use would be in harmony. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll vote by show of hands. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. And 4, I'll entertain a motion that the use will be in general conformity with the City of Goldsboro Comprehensive Land Use Plan.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded that the use would be in general conformity with the City of Goldsboro's Comprehensive Land Use Plan. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll vote by show of hands. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On that third motion, I was voting electronically. I just want to make sure I raised my hand. I support all of the motions. Okay.
Perfect. All
So I
right.
was doing this. I think I forgot.
No, all well. Any questions about clarity on voting since we are doing this by hands instead of electronically? I certainly do not mind. All right, SU 126 is granted. Correct. All right. All right. Next, Mr. Livingston, we'll move to item 5.4. Will you be delivering the brief, or will
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This next public hearing is for an economic development agreement with Alianza USA. This is an economic development project that's slated to add $36,400,000 in investment into the city, additional 16 jobs or more. One of the things that WCDA has asked us, that's the Wayne County Development Alliance, is if we would work with them on a utilities agreement so that they can have water and sewer serve the property there. And one of the things that has arisen, because they want to have it served by rail, they need to, or we need to improve the water and sewer lines there by encasing them and doing some other, and move them too, so they won't be within the railroad right-of-way completely. So that's what they're asking, and they're well underway with the project, and I think they're going to be opening pretty soon. But the serving it with rail would allow them to grow, and that's certainly within everyone's best interest to have that facility grow and produce even more jobs.
Council, are there any questions for Mr. Livingston on this one? I know everyone has had an opportunity to review the documents. Seeing none, we'll move to the public hearing. Now, with this one, folks do not need to approach the clerk or anything like that. They're free just to simply come to the podium. So we will open the public hearing for item 5.4. This is a hearing on amending an economic development agreement with Alianza USA. Second call, anyone wishing to come forward and speak on item 5.4 on our agenda, please do so. Third and final call, anyone wishing to come forward and speak on item 5.4, please do so. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Council, in the last few seconds, have you had any other questions come up for Mr. Livingston about this item? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the amendment as proposed in the resolution in the packet.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded to adopt the resolution as presented. All in favor, we'll vote by show of hands. Please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes, I believe, unanimously. All right. Now we will move into our general public comment period. As always, speakers are asked to be civil and courteous in their language and presentations at all times. Speakers are asked to refrain from personal attacks and/or threats directed towards any specific council member, the mayor, city staff, or other members of the public. And vulgar or profane language or gestures will not be tolerated. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak should have already signed up on the chart coming in. If anyone did not do so, please approach the clerk now. Seeing no one, we'll proceed with the public comment period. Ms. Getz. Bless you. Hey, good evening.
My name is Portia Ham, and I'm just a personal assistant to Maine here. I couldn't speak the last time because my permanent crown had fallen out. I looked like somebody hit me in the mouth with a brick, so I couldn't come up here. But one thing I wanted to say is, because he had a cousin here trying to speak for him before, but he does not own the Jefferson store. He's not the owner of the store, the existing store. He was the one who applied to try to get the vape shop, and then he decided against a vape shop and wanted more of a regular convenience store. Any violations on the store, on the regular store, would come to the owner of that store, not the employee. So that's just one thing I wanted to make sure that you all was clear on. Another thing is, someone got up here and said that because of the store and things at that store, they were unable to sell this lot there that used to be a daycare that was bulldozed. Well, I was personal friends with Ann Grant Humphreys. I don't know if you all know the Grant family.
Pause for just one second. I'm gonna make sure you get your time.
Okay.
What staff are currently trying to figure out, because that public hearing on that matter has already been closed. But of course, is a public comment period whereby you can come forward and offer commentary on anything that's on the agenda or general city business. However, we have to protect the sanctity, if you will, of that public hearing. So, Mr. Lawrence, I know you're being asked on the fly here, and I want to make sure that they get their time if they're entitled to it. I'm inclined to allow the comments under public comment period unless there is strong reason not to.
Now, I think they have the right to speak because it's on the agenda.
Right.
It is public, and it is related to city business.
Right.
Now, the flip side of it is, though, the council, because it was already closed, public hearing, and because it's for a special use permit, which is quasi-judicial, you cannot consider what she has to say as evidence in making your decision on those 4 factors.
Unless we were to vote to reopen the public hearing for the sake of...
Unless you voted to reopen the public hearing.
Right. So, with that, if you would allow us just a moment. We're humans, we're going to hear a bell can't be unrung. Again, thank you. Just allow us. I want to make sure we get this procedurally correct.
No, I get you. Mr. Livingston made a comment about something she was talking about. I said, I hear you. I've not heard what she said because everybody's been asking me questions. Right. So I'm not sure what she's talked about yet.
Sure.
To give an opinion on whether or not it's even admissible if you open the public hearing back up again.
Right.
Could it be open again?
So, how about this? Let me hear from council. If you would have a seat just for a moment.
All right.
I assure you,
I understand.
If I'm allowed to, I'm going to ask you back up to the podium. Okay?
All right, sir.
If you'll allow me to go forward with anyone else who is here to speak for public comment while you have a chance to digest, and then you can guide me. And then if council is interested in amending the agenda to pull, this would be item 8.2 off of old business back up to public hearings, we can reopen it under that after public comment, if that is the will of council. Fair?
Fair.
That will give council an opportunity to think, to then vote yes or no. All right. So council, what we're going to do, we're going to proceed with the public comment period for any other speakers that are here to speak. If it is the will of council, we'll then entertain a motion to amend the agenda, pulling that item back up to public hearings if it is the will of council. If not, then we'll have to consider that public hearing closed and we'll not be able to hear her comments on the matter this evening. Okay, is that correct?
Well,
other than she can still come up at public comment.
She can talk in public comment because it is on the agenda. It is city business.
You're just forewarning us.
The council just can't consider what she has to say in making its decisions on those four-part criteria.
Which is on a human level is kind of irrational.
Once you hear it, it's there. I understand that, but then your option is, at this point, to move the public comment period further down the agenda. Go to that item as a public hearing. Then if she says something, the decision's already been made, but she's been given the opportunity to speak.
No, let's leave it intact. Anyone else who's here to speak for public comment, let's allow those folks to come forward and speak. And then after that, council, if there is a motion, then we'll address that motion. And I think that will resolve this in the cleanest way possible, protecting both the rights of the speakers as well as the rights of the applicant as well as the rights of everyone else that's also spoken. Okay? All right. Anyone else to come forward and speak?
I sort of addressed what I came up here for when I first came up here. I just didn't know how everything worked, but just to respect everybody else's time and expound on what I was talking about. Seeing what's going on in the country, how people are so politically divided that like it's really, really easy to manipulate people on anything. I don't like what's going on with my commander-in-chief, if I'm being totally honest. And I originally joined the Air Force just needing some money coming from Memphis, Tennessee. Just needed a better foundation for my life. And coming here made me really, really appreciate America, made me appreciate the people, down-to-earth people that I met here. And I sort of found a different reason to be in the military instead of just for myself. So I definitely want to be more influential in just like the local scene here, especially with the youth. I don't see anybody that's around my age coming to these types of meetings or even talking about it really. So I'm definitely willing to pull youth in here however I can with my influence. And I can't wait to like learn from you guys and see how this like really works, because from what I saw a couple years ago, nobody really knows. Like if you ask the average person, like how does politics really work, I don't think they would be able to tell you. And just want to be a little change for that, that's all.
We look forward to meeting with you. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you for yours.
Okay. Council, I realize that this one is a little bit clear as mud, but we have concluded our public comment period. Is it the will of council to move the item that was discussed earlier, item 8.2 is SU 925? Is there a motion to move that back up to public hearings and then reopen the public hearings? If not, then we'll be required to move on with our agenda. Are there any questions at this time for the attorney or for planning on how that process would work? I know it's a complicated question.
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we should hear from Ms. Ham if she wants to come and speak during public comment and share what her comments are. That just means we have to use our moral compass and follow our processes as they are written.
Yes, sir.
Is a comment appropriate?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Matthews stated she had a question.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's okay. Either way. Yeah. Either way.
Okay. Since our attorney explained that if we rearrange the procedure and allow the person to come up and speak, we're not allowed to pay any attention to what she has to say. So that, to me, I mean, we're just going too far out in the left field. We need to, in my opinion, we have procedures, and we're just like falling all over ourselves trying to rearrange. I think that sets it just puts it in a position to where everybody in the future coming forward can say, let's rearrange the rules to suit me. So I would be in favor of allowing the woman to come and speak and come forward again. But if the council so chose to do that, if that's what the majority wants to do, I'll follow that. But I would say move it to the end so that she is allowed to speak freely and say what she wants to. As the attorney pointed out, it's after the fact, so that straightens out the procedure. But it's too much, I feel like.
I have a follow-up.
Yes, ma'am.
I want us to kind of clarify. I don't want us to use the terminology, we can't pay no attention to what she's saying. That is a hard here. I think we should explain it to Ms. Ham. So what we're saying is what she's saying can't be considered by us as it relates to the decision we have to make later on. The verbiage that we're using, and I would like staff to explain that to her, why her comments, one, are still very important and should be heard during public comment, but also why we're saying that the comments she is going to say, we cannot consider them in our decision based on the legality of the situation. I think that should be made clear to Ms. Ham and the gentleman that she's with, who also had his name up there for public comment as well. I'm asking staff to please explain that to Ms. Ham.
I understand it, and then with that being said, it really will remove whatever I have to say right now. So I don't know what to do.
I think that it really, my opinion at this point, it comes down to, do we reopen the public hearing or not? Because I want to, again, protect the integrity of the process. If we want to reopen the public hearing, let's have a motion to reopen the public hearing and then vote on that up or down. If outside of that, then I think we need to move forward with our agenda. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to hear what she has to say, but there's another side of the coin. If we reopen it, then we need to reopen others if we're asked to do so, because we have to be fair to everybody. So I'm asking the council, what do we do in this case?
I have a question.
Yes,
for real
ma'am.
this time.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman Jones, would you consider opening the hearing but tabling it to a way, and again, I feel like we're kind of playing with fire a little bit, but if we open it again, I would say we needed to table it so that if other people wanted to speak on the matter, but then again, that's, like you said, it's still kind of,
It is.
if we do it now, we have to do it later.
Yes, I agree.
The cleanest way of doing it, not to cut anybody else off, the cleanest way of doing it is to allow her, again, her legal right to come back up at public comment period now, speak, but obviously we have to, as was actually stated a minute ago, we then have to ensure that we don't allow that to influence our votes. That would be the truly easiest, cleanest legal thing. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think that the easiest way is because I think I can't speak for everybody. I know I want to hear what she has to say. So the cleanest way is to continue on with the agenda as written, and we use our moral compass as stated before to make a decision.
Yeah, I was going to say too that I do want to hear what Ms. Ham has to say. I think that it's her right to get up here and be able to say it and speak for her friend. But as Councilman White said, we all have to use our moral compass, and we all know, and we're grown, our responsibilities when it comes to making our decisions.
Yes, sir.
I agree. If the majority of the council feels that they would like to hear what she has to say, then I think it should be handled as public comment so that we do not upset our process and procedure for public hearing. And I think that serves both purposes. So.
All right. So if council is comfortable doing this, then I'll return to the public comment period on our agenda. We'll reset the timer to 3 minutes and invite the speaker back to the podium. Purely under public comment period. Yes.
Council, if I may, and I believe my director, Mr. Mark Helmer, would agree with me. Whatever is said, I would just defer to the city attorney. If there's anything said that should not be considered or be admissible in your deliberation, our attorney, he'll make that call, and he'll tell you at that point in time what to consider and what not to consider.
And the way the agenda is laid out to that point, we will, after public comment period, we will still have the consent agenda. We'll have 8.1, and then have 8.2. That will give you an opportunity, if you need to make any notes between now and then, of things that we need to expressly, not consider before we even get to item 8.2. All right. Sorry.
No, I can speak to that because you can't consider
Any of it. Right.
So I don't have to think about it.
But you can reiterate that when we get to item 8.2.
Okay.
All right. And that way it's very clearly on the record and fresh that is how we have to stand. All right. Judgment call is being made. We're going forward with public comment period. Please reset the timer. Ma'am, if you'd like to come forward and speak, you're welcome to do so.
Is it an option to withdraw and reapply?
Yes.
I'm just saying, would that be
Come forward and speak. What?
Because there's a language barrier. That's part of it,
Okay. So
who's the applicant?
Who is?
He is. I did all the paperwork for him, but he is.
So just technically, he has to make the request
Right.
for it to be withdrawn. Certainly, I'm not saying she can't assist him to
Right.
convey that to you as the council, but he has to make that request to withdraw his application for the special use permit.
I have a very simple solution for this one. Mr. Helmer, Mr. Touton, would y'all please go in the anteroom with these two folks? If he would like to communicate a desire to withdraw, you can amend your brief between now and the time we get to item 8.2.
But can I
Just one second. Is that something that y'all could do? Because if he's stating that he would like to withdraw, that will give y'all an opportunity to amend your brief. I said if.
And we have everything in place.
But she made the comment to make it easier on us.
And you did.
But while you're there, please, if one of you would also explain what it means to withdraw. Because it's not withdrawing it just from tonight, it's withdrawing it from consideration. So just make sure that that question, I want them to be able to have that question answered, but I also want to move forward with our meeting. And so if that is an option, I'd like for y'all to go have this conversation now. All right.
And the last thing is I could just go on and do my little comments and that'd be it. I'll just be my whatever and get the point across to you all. You know, I was just trying to do whatever's best.
Well, there are two different questions.
Heard because he's not been heard.
Understood. All right. Gentlemen, y'all think through this for just a second. If they do say that they would like to withdraw, they'll have the opportunity to walk outside with y'all after public comment. Please reset the timer to 3 minutes. Ma'am, you have 3 minutes if you would like to speak on this matter. And then if the two of you do decide that you would like to amend your application in some way, grab planning as quickly as possible, as there will be a few minutes before we get to this item on the agenda, okay? All right, 3 minutes is yours.
Okay. I think I stopped when I was saying, someone spoke before saying that their property couldn't be sold because of whatever was going on at King's. But I was personal friends with Ann Grant Humphreys. That's the Grant family. She owned the house right over here. And she has called me plenty. Can you get my stuff cut down? Because they tell me they can't sell the lot next to me because of my house. So that right there was something just, I had a word for it, but either way. But he's wanting to open up the store over here as his own store. He does not own this one. He's been working there. He's trying to open up the dry cleaners. And the Fosters and the Fordham's family or whatever, they allowed him to rent the property for that purpose. They're a well-known family in Goldsboro. Some of them own the things down here by the traffic circle and everything. So I was just asking you all to just give him a chance. He has a language barrier, but he just wants to, where he's not, all the stuff that was said about him, whatever going on over at the store, but he didn't own the store, he was a worker, and now he's trying to own his own business. So he was not the owner of that store. And I don't think that was clear before. And like I said, I couldn't come up here looking like somebody had just hit me in the mouth, but I want to get the point across. And I don't know if Holly shared it with you all, but somebody sent him a letter saying that you all had changed your mind and told them to wire this money somewhere. I took the letter to the city, to planning department. I don't know if Holly shared it with you all. But it was really, it just had everything outlined, and he was ready to wire that money, thinking that, and that, I kept saying, this is not, it doesn't happen like this. Yes, sir. So either way, I just wanted to get my little 2 cents out on his behalf, or whatever. That's it. It would be, and I live in that neighborhood. I live over on East Pine Street, and I have a handicapped 30-year-old. It would be beneficial to me when I have to run out somewhere at night like that with her worker there, me or the worker, to be able to go and just drive through somewhere and pick up what we need and get back home. As well as I have two nieces in the same area with children in situations similar in the home. So that would be beneficial. What he's trying to do would help us, would help everybody from Royal Avenue back to Seymour Johnson Homes. If they need something in the middle of the night, because they can't get it at Walmart anywhere, and people do have needs at different times of the day. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you.
And if y'all do have any additional questions about planning for right now, if y'all would like to step out, you can. Only clarity, you mentioned the word withdrawal, and if that is something that you wanted to understand or discuss, now would be an opportunity. That's all. Not encouraging anything, just making sure that you understand now is that opportunity. All right. That concludes our public comment period. We will move to our consent agenda. Council, on our consent agenda, the business development plan and framework, there are two, what I believe are typographical matters that I want to make clear. So I'm going to ask for 7.2 to be removed from the consent agenda. I would ask for a motion to move 7.2 down under old business to allow, what I don't want is us to approve it and then us have to bring it back next month with typographical changes. And so I would rather go ahead and get those documented this evening and be done with that. But items 7.1 and 7.3, and of course I would need a motion from council to do that, or council can overrule me and just say, nope, we're rolling with it as it is, and that's also fine. It's a good plan. Is there a motion to do that, or is council fine rolling with it as it is?
I have a question, Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
if that's
sir.
appropriate.
Yes, sir.
I don't remember what they are now because I don't have all that in front of me. I remember that I pointed out a couple of things like that that were typographical, I think, and I was under the assumption it had already been changed, and maybe it has, but is that along the lines of what you're saying? Is there still some knick-knack stuff like that?
I'll put them out there for three. There was a specific corridor that a member of council wanted named. There is, instead of naming one specific commission of the city, it was to say the appropriate commission and to fix a job title.
Okay, so that hadn't been done yet.
Right.
Then. Okay, that was what I was trying to clarify what the subject matter.
Because like the job title for the assistant city manager is like assistant city manager of development as opposed to something, and then instead of saying specifically Community Commission on Relations and Development, just simply say the applicable or appropriate city commission, because it may be them, it may be planning, it may be something else as time evolves. And then there was the change that Councilman White brought forward. So it was those three. Only one of them is on the resolution. The other two I wanted to be able to pull out this evening.
So I move that we remove 7.2 from the consent agenda.
All right, motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded to move item 7.2 down to old business. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call a vote. All in favor, please raise your hands. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes. Who seconded? I know.
Me.
You second? All right, perfect. All right, so now we'll move forward with our consent agenda, and then we will come back to that specific item in just a minute. But item 7.1 and 7.3, Mr. Livingston, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have emergency water and sewer repairs for one of our larger 18-inch water mains. That's $91,550. That was an emergency issue that we're having to deal with. If we don't get it worked on, we could have some pressure issues in our tanks. The other second one is a manhole replacement. One of the older manholes, which is one of the brick ones that were constructed many decades ago by hand, in the amount of $78,380. And that one's completely failing right now, so that's probably contributing to lots of our I&I as well. If you have any specific questions about those, we also have our engineering services manager who can detail it, but I think they're laid out in your agenda packet as well. And then we also have approval of minutes, 7-3, from January 5th and January 20th meeting.
All right, so council, having had the opportunity to ask any remaining questions on 7.1 or 7.3, is there a motion to approve consent agenda items 7.1 and 7.3? So moved. All right, motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded to approve consent agenda items 7.1 and 7.3. We'll vote by show of hands. All in favor? You need a roll call.
Mayor Gaylor?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Weeks? Yes. Councilwoman Jones?
Yes.
Councilman Boyette?
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor?
Yes.
Councilwoman Matthews?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
All right. Pen is dying right here in front of us. And Ms. Getz, thank you. I got it all. And Ms. Getz, you did get that. The consent agenda items that were approved was 7.1 and 7.3, and we're moving 7.2. I'll tell you what, since you are back. So with that, we will move to item 8.1 under old business. Mr. Touton, are you handling this one? All right.
Absolutely. Council, moving forward, we're going to, if you will recall, we had a request from an applicant to establish a place of entertainment with ABC, specifically a bar on the west side of US 117 North between Carolina Commerce Drive and Tommy's Road. I'll just give you some highlights of our discussion. Basically, the applicant, Mr. Williams, the property has recently been rezoned from general business. To general business. The land use designation was mixed use 2. Specifically, the address is 2606 North William Street. Employees 6 days of operation Monday through Sunday, 12 noon to 2 a.m. Some approval criteria for the place of entertainment: that no establishment shall be located within 200 feet of any residentially zoned or developed property, church, or school. Where the proposed establishment is separated from a residentially zoned or developed property by a 4-lane highway, which it is, the 200-foot separation shall only apply to the properties along the side and the rear of the establishment. No establishment shall be located within 150 feet of any other such establishment. And of course, any outdoor activities must be specifically approved as part of the review and approval process. The submitted site plan showed 3 pool tables, seating for approximately 35 people, restrooms, and a storage area. If it is approved, the site will be required to meet the development regulations of the UDO. And of course, a building permit and final inspection will be required for the upfit of the tenant space for all life and safety codes to be followed in order to occupy the facility. There again is the location of the property. Of course, it's going to be recombined, annexed into the city. There's an illustration showing again, the pool tables, the bar area, right here, kitchen, restrooms. We've reviewed the request in accordance with the UDO and comprehensive land use plan and have no objections to the proposed use. And now, here's the requested action. Of course, again, at that hearing, I believe council voted to, was it to continue, Madam Clerk, or it was closed, is that correct? So it was closed, and now we're waiting for a decision from council. Any questions, Mayor?
All right, council, As was stated at the end of the last time we discussed this item, if there were any questions, those would need to be read into the record. If there were any answers to any questions, those would need to be read into the record. Mr. Talton, are you aware of any questions that that came up on this one that need to be read into the record publicly?
I don't recall any at this time. It seemed like the questions that were brought up maybe were answered at that time.
Okay, during the meeting in open session. All right, perfect. Just wanted to make sure since it is special use.
Yes, sir.
All right, council, are there any further questions or concerns from Mr. Talton? All right, hearing none. Again, this is a 4-part test being a special use permit. If there's no further discussion, we'll move forward with motions. All right. For SU 725, I would entertain a motion that the use would not materially endanger the public health or safety.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded that the use would not materially endanger public health or safety. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote by show of hands. All in favor, please vote by show of hands. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm good. I raised my hand. I agree. I'm sorry.
No, it's
Big old red too.
no. Our system is our system's letting us down tonight. We're good. Motion number 2 will entertain a motion that the use would not substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting property.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second? Motion's been made and properly seconded that the use would not substantially injure. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote by show of hands. All in favor, please vote by show of hands. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. All right. We will move to motion 3. I'll entertain a motion that the use will be in harmony with existing development and uses within the area in which it is located.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded that the use would be in harmony with. Is there any debate on that motion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote by show of hands. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. And then motion number 4, I'll entertain a motion that the use would be in general conformity with the City of Goldsboro's comprehensive land use plan.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
And properly seconded. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote by show of hands. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. All 4 motions having passed, SU 725 is granted. All right. Now we will move to item 8.2. Mr. Talton, Mr. Helmer, if there's anything further to bring forward.
Let's see. I did speak with the applicant, and they told me they would prefer to move forward tonight, and they will accept whatever decision is that this council renders. I'd be glad to give a brief description of the application if need be. Is that,
if you don't mind, even an abbreviated version,
okay,
but something to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Special use 9-25 convenience store with no fuel. The applicant or the subject use is to be located at 1550 East Ash Street. That's at the northwest corner of North Jefferson Street and East Ash Street. The current zoning is neighborhood zoning, neighborhood zoning district. The existing or the previous use was dry cleaning business. The property is currently vacant. The land use designation for this is office institutional. The applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow for a place of convenience store without fuel sales. The public hearing was conducted in January of this year. At that time, City Council conducted the public hearing, closed the public hearing, and here we are tonight. Again, all this information was previously submitted and is still in your packet for review. So the city's comprehensive land use plan identifies the subject property land use designation as office and institutional. The properties in vicinity and adjacent to the subject properties are predominantly located in the office, institutional, and residential zoning district. The businesses include financial services, beauty salons, real estate, property management, and insurance services. The proposed use is not compatible with existing land uses and the development patterns along East Ash Street. The proposed use is inconsistent with the city's comprehensive land use plan. Therefore, planning staff, we're more or less recommending that this application be denied based on those facts. This council is requested to review the application and make a decision in accordance with the finding of fact for a special use permit. Answer any questions you may have.
Council, any additional comments or questions for Mr. Helmer before we enter our deliberations? All right, hearing none. Council, is it the will of council to move forward with motions, or are there other conversations or questions to raise?
I make a motion that we approve.
This is a special use, so we need to go through the four-part test. So was yours the first motion that it would not materially endanger the public health or safety?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we have a motion that the use would not materially endanger the public health or safety. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded that the use would not materially endanger the public health or safety. Is there any debate on this? All right. We will vote by show of hands. All in favor that the use would not materially endanger the public health or safety, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes. The second motion, the motion that the use would or would not substantially injure, I need council to say which, but a motion that the use would not substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting property.
I make a motion that the use will substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting property.
All right, a motion has been made that the use would substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting property. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded that the use would substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting property.
Interject.
Yes.
Apologizing, that's a matter of mere terminology to a degree. Was it material or substantially the verbiage that the statute has on that?
It's substantially injure.
Okay.
I may have misspoke.
So now, if it says substantial, and you said substantially?
That was her.
Okay, all right. You had materially out there before that.
All right. The motion on the table.
I was wrong my comments. I saw materially somewhere up there on that board. So,
It was the first
okay.
motion.
All right, it was still up there, I guess, when the motion was made. So I apologize.
You're good.
Just trying to make sure the verbiage was correct.
You're fine. So the motion on the floor is that the use would substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting property. That motion has been made and properly seconded. We're open for debate. Is there any debate on that motion? Yes, sir.
I guess I'm trying to picture how it would do that.
So I'm basing my decision off the recommendation of the staff and looking at all the abutting properties up on Ash Street. That was recommended by the staff, the financial institutions and everything. The staff said that it is not compatible with the existing businesses in that area. So my motion is, again, that the use will substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting property.
I guess my rebuttal would be we have approved such stores in neighborhoods and such that didn't inhabit those type deals, and we still approved them. Case in point, the gas station at Collier Base and New Hope Road.
I'll just speak for myself. I wouldn't put two of them, like Collier Best and New Hope Road being a good example. I certainly would not vote to put a second one right there in the same location.
Yeah, but
that's just me. Just foreshadowing how I'm.
Right, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is it doesn't benefit that neighborhood either. I don't care if it's 20 of them, but we approved it. Or we could use the one on Berkeley where it was just O&I. It was O&I, but we approved it. We changed it so we could put that strip mall in front of Maplewood.
Are we in debate?
We are. Yeah, we are. I was allowing Councilman to complete his comments and questions if he had any. Yes, sir.
I cannot believe that we're still beating this dead horse on the gas station at Collar Best and New Hope Road that's been voted on and discussed to death. But the key between those two, in my mind, the staff recommended approval. A previous council had approved it, and we approved it by majority vote of the council for the reasons we did, because it was beneficial. It did bring road improvements. Something was going to be put there whether we liked it or not. We had an opportunity to shape what went there by approving, because they let the site plan expire. Was the whole reason that we had that opportunity, because the existing approved fuel station on that corner let their site plan expire. So when it come back before us, it gave us an opportunity to be able to steer that in a manner that benefited that whole area, with additional turn lanes for traffic alleviation. All the things that we stated was the reason why it passed by majority vote. A $7 million improvement to the tax base, an improvement on utility, improvement on the infrastructure there, all of the above that was happening there. So that is nothing to do, that's apples and oranges here. That was recommended by staff, and we approved it. And I'm over hearing about that every week. I mean, I've been in communication this week with DOT, monitoring progress out there and what's happening, and that ship has sailed. That's been approved by majority vote of this council for the reasons that it did. This particular use has been brought to us by staff and said it's not recommended, and it's plain as day when you look why it's not recommended. Is it in harmony with existing development? Is it in conformity with a comprehensive land use plan? No, it's not. I mean, I'm frustrated. We're over that.
Well, I'm frustrated as well right now.
I get that.
And you know what? And it's not my concern that you over it.
I get
all right.
that.
But what it is we set a standard. That's all. That's the comparison I'm making. We set a standard.
Agreed.
A standard was that if we felt that it was great, then we will approve it. Right? We felt that it was going to do something there, then we approve. We set the standard for that. Even the one on Berkeley, we set the standard for that. So now I don't understand why the standard doesn't apply to this store. Even though they said deny it on the basis of it doesn't fit the land uses, we denied something on Berkeley Boulevard that did not coincide with O&I, and we changed it.
Mr. Mayor,
Gentlemen, allow me to allow other folks that have had their hands up, and then I'll come back to you.
Fair enough.
All right. Councilman Matthews, did I see your hand go up? All right, Councilman Taylor.
I just have a question, and it may not be the right time to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So, say for example, we're voting and one of these things does not get approved and it does not pass at this time. Would this applicant be able to come back later with a revision in a different application, or I'm just curious, or would another business be able to come at some point and do an application if he would want to?
Yeah, so I believe the general statute does allow for any applicant can come back providing substantially different application.
Okay.
For this applicant, if he's denied, then there is a waiting period. He would have to wait before he can reapply for the same use. Okay.
Even if he has substantial changes?
If there's substantial changes, say a doctor's office comes in or an insurance agency or something comes in, that's a different application, and that can be submitted at any time and received by this council at any time.
If it was more of a grocery store, that would be substantially different.
That's a little less clear, but yeah,
Right.
but yes, if it, we could document that somehow, that
Right,
there's a
there's-
difference between a convenience store and a grocery store.
Right.
We would entertain that. Yeah.
Right.
That would have to be a substantial difference. I'm not sure if that would qualify as
Yeah.
a substantial difference.
Well,
But 6 months before he can come back with the same thing.
Right. Right. All right. And then, gentlemen, all right. Sir, I see
Question
your
to
hand
staff.
up. All right. Yes, sir.
Ron, could you
Oh,
I'm,
yes.
I'm
oh,
sorry, I
what
didn't
was it?
realize
Yes,
you
ma'am.
had called on her.
okay,
Yes,
could you
ma'am.
repeat your last statement?
For the same application, for the same use, 6-month waiting period to come back. He can reapply in 6 months if he's denied today.
But if the situation doesn't change,
Well, so that's within 6 months. Okay.
Point out to my discussions with the applicant, I did explain that to him, and they understand.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
I have a question of staff when it's appropriate.
Councilman, question of staff?
Yes. So it's been a number of years since I've been involved down in planning. So this is just a general question, and I understand 160D and that changed how it used to be. So my question is this: are you allowed as staff, when you have an applicant, potential applicant, that comes in and says, I would like to do X, and I would like to fill out the paperwork to do that? If you have an applicant that comes in, for example, says, I want to apply to do X on this piece of property, and they say to you, I want to do X on this piece of property because X is being done on the property next door. Are you allowed as staff, and it's a question, to say that particular piece of property that's X now is a non-conforming use, and therefore it's under a different set of rules, to be able to help an applicant understand that they're going down the wrong path on day one? Are you allowed to do that in the modern
I
era?
think when we do our analysis, we look at all the adjacent uses and look at those uses in terms of what the comprehensive land use plan is calling for and what the current zoning allows for. So it weighs in that equation, but generally speaking, it's usually, our recommendations are based on whether it can comply with the UDO, whether it's a permitted use according to the UDO, and whether it meets the spirit and intent of the comprehensive land use plan.
So to trim that down to one simple sentence then, now that we got that out, are you allowed as the planning staff to say to a potential applicant, that's probably not going to fly?
I think when we advise clients,
That's all I
we
wanted
could
to-
possibly say something along those lines,
Thank you.
if need be.
All right, council, I do want to move us along. Does anyone have any further comments? Again, the motion on the floor that has been seconded is that the use would substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting. Are there any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll call the vote by show of hands. The motion that the use would substantially injure, those in favor, please raise your hand. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes on a 4-3 vote. All right. Motion number 3. A motion that the use would be in harmony with existing development and uses within the area in which it is located, or the opposite.
Make a motion that it will not be in harmony with existing development and uses within the area in which it is located.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded that the use would not be in harmony with existing development. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote by show of hands. Again, the motions that the use would not be in harmony. Those voting in favor, please vote by show of hands. Those opposed, same. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes on a 5-2 vote. All right, and then 4, a motion that the use will or would not be in general conformity with the City of Goldsboro Comprehensive Land Use Plan.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that the use would not be in general conformity with the City of Goldsboro Comprehensive Land Use Plan.
All right, a motion's been made that the use would not be in general conformity with. Is there a second?
I second it.
Motion has been made and properly seconded that the use would not be in general conformity with. Is there any debate on this motion? All right, all in favor of the motion that the use would not be in general conformity, please vote by show of hands. All against? Motion passes on a 5-2 vote. All right. SU 925 is denied at this time. All right, we will move back to item 8.3, which is 7.2 off of the consent agenda. There were one thing that is in the resolution that is already there, and then there were two other things that were presented by council. Kelly, where are you going? She was supposed to be doing this one, right?
Well, I mean,
there were two other things that were
yeah.
that were brought forward. One was getting the job title right, and second was instead of specifically saying CCRD, that we would be saying the applicable city commission.
Correct.
I don't want to have to bring this thing back for typo changes, and so I would ask that council approve a resolution to or adopt a resolution to approve the business comprehensive use plan with those three changes: the change in the resolution, as well as fixing the job title and removing and just replacing a specific reference to CCRD with the applicable city commission. All right. Any questions? All right, I would entertain a motion to approve subject to those changes. Laura, what's going on there?
That was the first one, I think.
You just do it by hand.
We will, but I want to make sure that I'm not. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. We can.
She voted yes.
It was. Pro Tem, if you would like to, which vote was just up on the screen that was incorrect?
I think that was the initial one that she did vote that way, and she didn't change it.
Just let it be known that any votes will be reconciled against the actual video. These are obviously recorded. If any deviations are found, they obviously will be noted, and correct minutes and results will be tallied.
I want to make a motion that we adopt the business development plan with the amendments that you recommended, that you stated.
Right. Motion has been made and properly seconded to adopt the plan subject to those three amendments. Is there any discussion? And motion was made and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll vote by show of hands. All in favor, please vote by show of hands. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes. That's a really good piece of work by this staff and this council. That business development plan, I think, is going to be something that we look back on in a few years and are really happy with. All right, that concludes old business. We will now move into new business. Actually, it is 7:16. We generally speaking, after 90 minutes, stop for a quick nature break. We still have 3 items plus a brief closed session. So would council like to take a quick nature break? Not seeing any requests. We'll keep on rolling. All right, item 9.1, Mr. Livingston or Chief West?
Chief West, sir.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council. Long time no see. Item 9.1 under new business is, I guess it's an amendment, a discussion for the Chapter 91 Animal City Ordinance. Just to summarize, it was reviewed. A lot of the language was modernized or updated from the 60s and the 70s to clarify animal ownership standards, enforcement authority, and public nuisance definitions. Also aligns animal control provisions with state law, zoning requirements, and public health regulations. Clarifies standards for animal pens, breeding activity, animals in heat, and nuisance behaviors. Formalizes animal control officer authority, training expectations, and humane enforcement practices. And also updates rabies, impoundment, and interference provisions for consistency with North Carolina statute. Any questions?
Council, this is before us for the first time, so I'm not necessarily asking council for a vote, although obviously a motion could be made. But this is an opportunity for us to ask questions and recommend changes. If there's none, then obviously we can vote on it this evening. If we don't hear anything, then what I'll ask is for staff to please put this in the consent agenda for our next meeting to give council an opportunity to ask the city manager if any questions do arise, given this is somewhat, it is still a new thing to council. Any comments or questions on item 9.1?
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I have had the opportunity to review this in detail, and I'm good with it as presented. That doesn't mean we need to call for a vote. If you want to continue with tradition of just adding it to a consent agenda, I'm just letting it be known that I'm in approval of it.
I think this one is a strong improvement. We've had a couple of situations that have gone 18 and 24 months for resolution lately, that this would allow us some stronger ways to resolve it. Then council, hearing no objection or comment to the contrary, we'll expect item 9.1 on our consent agenda at the next meeting. Item 9.2, do you mind bringing this one up for us?
9.2 is going to be in regards to the noise ordinance. Similar situation, it was reviewed, just basically updates Chapter 95 to provide clear, objective noise standards that are easier to understand and to enforce. It establishes distance-based and time-based thresholds rather than vague subjective language. Clarifies exceptions for city-sponsored events, schools, permitted activities, and protected speech, and it balances residential quality of life with downtown entertainment and commercial activities.
So, Chief, I know there was some questions and concerns that got brought up regarding like the drumming on Center Street, and I think that obviously there's some reasonable minds may differ on the time, but the structure of this, of trying to strike a balance between ensuring that group is able to have a safe and orderly practice and ability to have a very constructive activity, with also allowing residents that need to be able to get to bed or that may work different hours or not have a traditional sleep schedule, the use and enjoyment of their apartments as well that are right there on Center Street. But I do want to get that right out on the open. I know that has been something that has been concerning. We want to make sure that we are finding that balance. Council, is there any comments, concerns on this one? Have we struck that right balance?
I think we need to reconsider our time. We were all given the information from Funk Nation, and it is extremely beneficial for those students. A lot of students do not even get home from school till like 5:30. So in talking with some of those families today, if you get home from school at 5:30, you really can't start your practice till later. And so I am hoping that council will take in consideration that time during the week. I think on the weekends the time was reflective of 8 p.m. on the weekends, I think. And so I was wondering if, in speaking with some of the members of Funk Nation and some of the parents, they get finished roughly around 8:30. If we could maybe consider an 8:30 or 9 o'clock p.m. during the week, and maybe even make those two reflective of each other, the weekday evening hours and the weekends, to coordinate or coincide with each other.
So council would, hearing those comments, would your request be where it's, I believe you're talking about 95.10, musical rehearsals and public performances?
Yeah, section C.
hours of restriction right now, as drafted, would be shall only occur between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. So right off the bat, your recommendation would be that we move that to 8 or 8:30?
Yes, sir.
Any feedback from Chief West? I know we've had residents that have been concerned over the last couple of years, but I don't know that 8 o'clock was the problem. I think their problem was 9 o'clock and 9:30.
If we could
What
do it,
does that strike the balance?
if we could do it at least till 8 o'clock, that would be consistent with the weekend hours, and that would give a little bit of balance. I want to honor the residents too that live downtown, but I know that these students don't get out of school, many of them, till 5:30, and having that practice time, and this empowers them, encourages them, and affirms them, because this group is also used for mentorship. And so I think it is a great way to let them be a part of the downtown. And I think that we could possibly look at that time to see if we could strike a balance with the time.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I agree with you if there's no other course of approach, but I do think that since we have Edgewood over there, that big facility, is there any way that we can offer those kids a space over there in
100%.
Edgewood
100%.
inside?
Yeah.
And then that will alleviate the problem, give them a chance to be inside and practice even when it's cold. So I think looking at either Edgewood or W.A. Foster to help them be able to rehearse over there will be a more convenient solution. And if that's not plausible, then I do agree with you, Mayor Pro Tem, that we adjust the times to maybe 9 o'clock.
That's actually a good idea.
If we
Edgewood.
just off the bat hearing both of these, because again, I've been really impressed with the community. Folks have invited them over to another property that was just across Ash Street. I know they've been invited inside. Obviously it's very loud and it reverberates a lot when you're indoors. But I think that both of these could again help strike a balance if we went with 8 p.m. and then obviously also ask P&R to please, let's see if we can make some help. Or is that kind of striking the balance? I'm asking council for guidance here. I think there needs to be a restriction, because I do know that a lot of residents down there, especially those with young kids, have really, really struggled. And I want to find that balance.
When was the last time they actually rehearsed? I'm just out of curiosity. Do anybody know?
They've only rehearsed twice this year.
Yeah. Well, it's been cold. It's still in the winter.
I was just answering your question.
So the reason I'm really pushing for them to get an inside enclosure is because they don't practice now, because they're being courteous of the dance students down there at the dance studio. So that means they'll forego their rehearsals now because they don't want to go in there and disrupt anything. But if we can get them a facility where they can rehearse year-round inside, and maybe when it's warm, they might take it outside for a couple of hours or whatever. But giving them a structure that they can call theirs, I think will be the ideal situation.
If we did that, would you, your opinion, would we leave it at 7 o'clock then, or still make the adjustment?
I think if it's on the inside, I still think we make the adjustment, because it still might go outside the building.
I think one thing you got to consider is, you don't want to make policy based on one situation. If there's an issue with noise down there, it really should be what is a good time to minimize noise, for lack of a better term. So just food for thought.
But if I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to continue to encourage these young people. They could be doing a whole lot of other things than what they're doing. So I want us to continue to encourage them. I do want to take a look at their transportation. Wherever we place them, will they be able to get there?
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, yes, ma'am. And then I'll come back to you.
A couple things. We don't have to discuss it right now, but I'd be interested in hearing some of the complaints that were made, particularly that sparked us looking at this ordinance. The other thing is, if we're gonna make a time adjustment, I think it should be to 8:30. But the other thing was, I noticed that it talked about if it's authorized, sponsored, or permitted by the city. So the city could easily offer their authorization to allow for this specific thing. And I know you say you don't want to make the ordinance based on something specific, but because we put it in here that it can be authorized, that could just be something we could just give them the authorization to utilize that particular area at a particular time. So it's not including it in the ordinance, it's just honoring the ordinance as it has been amended in red that says unless it is authorized, sponsored, or permitted by the city. So that's just another option too. But my recommendation would be 8:30, and then either agree with Councilman White and the others that said find a general location, or leave it as it is, but make the accommodation and yield them the authorization to allow them to practice there.
Councilman?
I was thinking along the same lines with what Councilwoman Jones said. If we do the children have the ability to get to an alternate location, if it would be Peachtree Center or wherever it is, do they have the ability to do that based on proximity to how they arrive and where they're at now? Number one. Number two, Councilwoman Matthews is completely correct in the way that it's written, that this council has the authority to decide if something is okay and permitted around the requirement of the ordinance. And so that would bring me to my next question, that I do know that, or a statement, I do know that there was some effort being put into them being able to move across Ash Street over to, and this is, I could be wrong about this, it's my understanding they had moved over there and they had practiced there some, and there was not any residential complaints based on that move across Ash Street. I don't know that to be fact or not, but I do remember some feedback that it was said that some of the parents with small children were, that's where the time come about, because the parents were trying to get small children in bed at 7 p.m. or by 7 p.m. or whatever. So that's probably something to do with where the 7 p.m. time come in. So what would we be better off doing, thinking through that? Would we be better off to bump up the time a little bit versus, as Councilwoman Matthews suggested, our option of permitting it to happen as is? Then that's not helping what actually caused the problem to start with. I'm not so sure that we wouldn't be better off bumping the time forward a little bit instead of permitting for that. If we can reach the happy median there, I'm almost of the mindset that we need to have some more discussion with the players that are making, that's either in favor of or against it or whatever, and make sure we have our arms around what exactly everybody's position is before we make that determination. And I'm whatever everybody thinks by majority is what they want to do, I'm fine with that. But how, I guess, don't we need to figure that out?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there?
So I got it. We're talking about a specific group right now. We're talking about the drum. But this ordinance is going to affect everything, even outside the drum. So we do play music and stuff down here. You know, does the music stop when we say ordinances? Will the music stop at a certain hour? That's a lot of stuff that we have to consider. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that we're going to say that Center Street Jams is sanctioned by the city, but it's really sanctioned by the downtown development. So do they go under this actual thing? You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole bunch of things that we have to, with this ordinance, not just the drum line, as we put specifically in here on 995.10B, but we need to make sure that we're encompassing everything that happens, even not downtown specifically, but in other parts of the city.
So, yes, ma'am.
Okay, drumline is private. Is that my understanding? And City Street Jam is not.
Right.
It's permitted.
Yeah.
Right, it's permitted. It's not by the city, though.
Right, so whenever we do our ordinance, we have to make sure that we put all of that in there.
So right now, heard a lot of good conversation. I think that, I know there are some residents that would not mind, having a conversation, with myself, with Chief. I think the biggest takeaway, I'm in favor of 8 p.m. Now I'm looking at purely what my habits have been over the last going on now 8 years. 8 p.m. is a big difference between once you get past that, especially if you're trying to get up the next day for school. And also you got to realize that folks are sometimes going to go over 10 or 15 minutes. I think 8 is the right spot. And I also think we need to look at how we can help this group have a more structured spot. I'm very much in favor of that. This is not for a vote tonight. We've sort of hammered on 9510C. Are there any other pieces of this ordinance that we would like to see adjusted before it is brought back as old business at a future meeting? This is our chance to really hammer these things, and that's okay. Yes, ma'am.
So, this is kind of off topic, but kind of. But since we were discussing Edgewood, I just thought of something that I needed to say. So we have our neighborhood watch meetings at 5:30 at Edgewood now, since we moved from TC Coley, and it is pitch black dark in that parking lot and on that street. So I was going to ask you, Mr. Livingston, if you can look into that, because none of the street lights work, and if you're going in and out of that building, and that's at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then we get out about 6:30, 7 o'clock, it's pitch black, like you can't even see where you're walking. You have to turn your light on your phone. So while that was crossing my mind, I just wanted to mention that because not only is that important for these reasons, but it's important because of safety reasons.
Yes, ma'am. We'll look into it tomorrow.
I have another.
Yes, ma'am.
So, just so I'm clear, we're here with this ordinance because of some complaints, particularly about the drumline practicing. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, that's not what
Okay.
I was waiting for my opportunity to kind of put that
Okay.
out there. Yeah, this
Thank
isn't
you.
complaint driven for me.
Thank you for
This was the transition, especially in the downtown area, from you get more entertainment, more nightlife, and then you've got a lot of residential units starting to pop up, apartments and stuff, and there's going to be a conflict at some point. So it was, let's look at the noise ordinance, see if there's parameters we can put in place. Time that was chosen, I literally pulled that from other municipalities that have got it. That's a starting point. I'm no way saying that I think it needs to be quiet time at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear so the drum line can hear that as well. So
Yeah,
we
no,
can
I haven't-
dispel the narrative that this is developed just because of them
Oh,
and
no,
their practice.
absolutely
And I
not.
want that to be clear to them.
Well, I
and
appreciate
I
you
know
bringing
they're
that up.
watching right
Absolutely.
now.
Yeah.
But my other concern is, like Councilman White mentioned, I don't know if he got a response, is this is beyond the downtown barriers, correct? Because
This is citywide.
Okay, because I'm looking at particularly the entertainment district, which is another opportunity for us to have a hub. And I want to be clear too. And while I do agree that I want to be mindful of the residents, when we move downtown, we assume downtown, and some things are to be expected as a resident when we're living in that space. But I'm cool with trying to find a healthy balance, but I have to say that there's some things that just come with the territory. It says that we could actually designate an area that would specifically encourage that outside kind of cultural, musical expression. So that's another opportunity too for council to say, okay, this is going to be the spot that they can do these things, and then everybody else just has to adjust. Like, I'm just saying that's an opportunity that we have as well. And that's pretty much all I have. I do encourage, I would say 8 o'clock. I think that's a good middle ground there. But
well, let's bring it back at the first meeting in March is already going to be heavy. let's bring this back. The second meeting of the month tends to be the one that we do administrative matters, the first meeting being the one that we do land use matters, generally speaking. We'll take a look at this. Let's plan on the second meeting in March, unless we see that land use matters are going to be light, in which case we'll pull it up to the first meeting in March. Obviously, everyone will be noticed because it will go out between now and then. All right. Good conversation. Chief, anything else?
Nothing.
All right, fair enough.
Chief, I had one question for commercial establishments with outdoor music. I just wanted to clarify that they could, if they wanted to, apply for a permit for extended hours, correct? At least 6 times a year.
They
the
could.
way that it was written.
Correct.
All right. Council, as you read through this and you have other comments, questions, ask Chief if it's for matters of clarity, and then we'll get a revised version in front of council at an upcoming meeting. Good? All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chief. All right. 9.3, a conversation that I don't think is going to be terribly difficult. Mr. Livingston, you want to start or just go straight to...
I think we can have Jonathan, who's been waiting very patiently there. This is a project he's been working on for several months, so I think he's anxious to brief you on it.
I am. Good evening, Mayor, Council. How's everybody doing?
Good.
So I did want to mention that, this is an engineering design manual. It's very technical in nature, but there's something that I believe council would be interested in. This is something that we've needed for quite some time. The one thing that council will get out of this is there's now going to be a process for us taking over public infrastructure, whether it be streets, water, sewer, stormwater, anything, curb, gutter, sidewalk. There's a substantial completion process, a checklist that goes along with that. There's a final completion checklist with a checklist that goes along with that. And then I'll bring to council the deed of dedication, and at that point, there's a kind of a breakdown in there of what we're going to be taking over, streets, water, sewer, the whole 9 yards, and from there it gets voted on, and that date is a hard date for us now where we can have our 1-year warranty period. Before we were having to go thumb through emails and try to figure out when the last email was where something was installed. It was a hassle and a headache. So I have sent this out to 3 engineers and developers locally. Everybody's looked at it. I've heard back from a couple. They all seem to be in agreements with it. And also Planning Commission, they approved it Wednesday last week. They had a special call meeting due to the snow. They got snowed out. So this is a UDO change. So at the March the 2nd meeting is when I was going to do a public hearing for this.
So the purpose of this piece is to vote to instruct the clerk to set the public hearing?
Correct.
That is right?
Correct.
Okay. So council are not actually voting on the manual itself. We are voting on an instruction to the clerk to post the notice for the public hearing on this thing, at which time we will hear any public input from other developers or any other stakeholders in the community. And after that public hearing, then we would be in a position to be able to vote and approve, correct?
Correct.
All right, so council will entertain a motion to approve a resolution instructing the clerk to notice the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Is there any debate?
Just a comment.
Just comment.
I'm glad to see this moving forward. It's sort of something that actually slipped off of my radar a while back, as much conversation as there was around it, because we are starting to have, as the city grows, we're starting to have a lot of requests for streets to be taken in by the city, and so being able to get this done will make that path, as Jonathan stated, a lot easier on their staff to have something to go by to get this done, because those requests are going to ramp up as we continue to grow. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am. There is no. So you just simply need a motion to
set the public hearing.
The agenda item was just to recommend the council review the proposed amendments in preparation for the public hearing on March 2nd.
Okay, so we actually do not have to vote to set the public hearing on this one. All right. Well, we can if we want to anyway, so we can feel like we have played a role in this. But a motion was made and properly seconded. A motion is not necessary, but I got to process the motion, right?
It's up to you. You can do it or don't do it.
All right. Any debate?
But the motion said to adopt the resolution, so maybe we need to change the verbiage of the.
I withdraw my motion. Or whoever made the motion, we withdraw it.
I'll withdraw the motion.
Thank you.
Just
All right.
direct us to set the public hearing.
There we go. 9.3. So that one, the notice of public hearing will be sent out. It doesn't require action of council like a annexation or something like that.
All right.
All right. So with that,
Appreciate it.
does that conclude 9.3?
Thank you, Jonathan.
Perfect. All right. Mr. Lawrence.
I just thought Mr. Perry had said it was going to be the second meeting in March.
March the 2nd.
That's why I'm getting confused to make sure I'm on, that's March 2nd, not the second meeting in
March
March.
2nd.
Okay.
Yes, March the 2nd.
That's right. Just make sure we were on the same page.
All right. Perfect. And unlike annexations, it doesn't require a vote by council to set the public hearing. Y'all can handle that administratively.
Correct.
And unless there's any other comments, questions from council, we are done with 9.3.
Thank y'all.
Have a good night.
Appreciate it. Y'all
Thank
too.
you, sir. All right. Before we go to our city manager's report, just want to make sure I heard you correctly. Mr. Lawrence, we do have one matter for closed session, right?
Right.
All right. Perfect.
Personnel matter.
Just a quick personnel matter. All right. We will go to our city manager's report. Mr. Livingston.
Thank you, Mayor. I put out there at the dais there the agenda for a meeting that's being held, and most of you are aware of it, by the base on some of the initiatives they have and some of the things that they're looking for community involvement and community suggestions. That's going to be all day Wednesday. So that's the day before the retreat, but I just wanted you to be aware of that. And we should be getting out the information tomorrow in the evening on the retreat, so you'll have a chance to look at that a little bit before the retreat, and just putting a lot of work into that. So looking forward to that, and hope you are too. And that's about all of my comments.
Perfect. It is a robust agenda that you and staff have prepared for us. Reminder that is out at Lane Tree, getting everyone kind of away for a few minutes, and I'm very much looking forward to that experience and appreciate your work getting all that pulled together. All right, we'll move into part 11, which is the mayor and council member comments. It is the first meeting of the month, and as tradition, we'll begin with the councilwoman from District 1. The floor is yours.
Yes, I just have a few things. First, you saw Public Works come up here, but I want to thank the city, Goldsboro Public Works, the police department, the fire department, all the volunteers that aided doing our snow. And I would also like to thank the mayor for his timely updates. They were really helpful, and a lot of my constituents really did like them. I would also like to commend the organization that I am part of, which is the Goldsboro Chapter Continentals. This year is our 65-year anniversary, and I want to thank them for uninterrupted commitment to providing services for the community through children and youth. We give scholarships, we do programmatic activities, and I would like to commend them. Our current president is Dr. Cheryl Richardson, and you can find her picture on the north end of Center Street because she is being celebrated as a hometown hero, and we're very excited and very proud of her for that. I would like for you to join us in February is African American Read-In. It began February 1 and ends to the 28th. We will be reading, and I'm inviting Goldsboro, the teachers and volunteers, to read a book authored by an African American and about an African American. I would thank you for doing that, and we will be doing that. The Continentals will be doing that throughout the year, but African American reading is in February. I would also like to thank those individuals who gave me cloths and towels. There were several. that gave them to me, as well as myself, for the soup kitchen. They were housing the unhoused, and they were taking showers, and they needed cloths and towels, and you stepped up to the plate, because right now they don't need any more, but they got a lot of cloths and towels, and I want to thank everyone that was part of that. The James and Pine Street project will be hosting a Black History on February 21st. I ask you to please come out. That's going to be at Wayne County Museum. And one of our community leaders, Miss Dorothy Hardy, will be signing her 5th edition of her book of little known facts about Goldsboro. Now, I'm not going to call out all the black businesses downtown, because I know that I will leave somebody out. So I support all the businesses downtown, but we are in, because Black History is 365 days a year, but we are in Black History Month, and so I want to commend the 21 businesses, black businesses, that we have downtown. Thank you so much for staying there. We encourage you to continue to make this community a great fabric. The last thing, it's not the last thing, the College and Career Conference on February 7th. I want to commend the community for getting the youth and the children out to talk about their careers and want to go next. That's very important, to be thinking about your employment after school and what you want to do. Quality of life was a very positive event. I'm wearing red today, and it is because of the heart disease. My father passed on Memorial Day. He had a heart attack, and he had no idea that he even had a problem with his heart. It was very silent. So I encourage you to please, please go to the doctor. I'm singing to myself, but go to the doctor and get your heart checked out, get everything checked out, because it was very devastating to lose my father, period. But then to lose him on Memorial Day was really awful. Also, I want to close with a quote from one of my favorite persons, which is Carter Woodson. And he said, "Those who have no record of what their forebears have accomplished lose the inspiration of teaching their biography and their history." So know your history. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman, floor is yours.
All right. And echo some of the comments that Councilwoman Jones made, in particular with our just saying a special gratitude and thank you to our public works staff and our public utility staff and our public safety staff for the phenomenal work that was done to keep us all safe and our city moving during this storm event and after. I did have occasion to be able to personally thank some of the public works staff throughout some of that, and it's a tough job that they're doing out there for us to keep this city moving in some less than desirable circumstances sometimes. 2 or 3 nights ago, I guess we had it might have been a water main break, I would assume, on Casual over in my district near the post office. And I come through there and those guys were working, and I got home and I'd been home for a little while and remembered I needed something to go in the mail, and I had to turn around and come back up there to the post office, and those guys are still out there. I mean, hours, and it was like, I looked at my gauge, I think it was like 19 degrees or 20 degrees, and those guys are out there manhandling, you know, our utilities and doing what's got to be done. And just thank you to all of our staff that kept us moving through all of that. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman, floor is yours.
I just have a few things this evening. I do want to also thank the city staff and all the employees, everyone. I, too, myself was out over on Berkeley one day this past week by Cashwell, and it was freezing outside. And those guys, it was late and it was dark and it was cold, and they were still out there working. And I hated to even get out to get in and out of my car. It was so cold. So I want to just give the recognition and credit where credit is due. Also, I just want to say that I'm so glad that we're starting to finally get to updating our ordinances. We have so many outdated ordinances, and if we could just tackle them all one by one, two by two, however we have to do it, they're outdated and they need to be updated. So I'm thankful for that. Two things I have for District 3 specifically. I just want to remind everyone that the first Wednesday of every month we have a neighborhood watch meeting. It used to be at the T.C. Coley Center. Now we've moved it over to the old Edgewood building, and it starts at 5:30. I would invite anyone, if you live in District 3, to attend. Whatever your concerns are, we would love to have you. Also, every month we have in Lincoln Homes or Walnut Apartments, we have a neighborhood connections meeting. And this month, our meeting is set for February 23rd at 11 a.m. in Lincoln Homes. So if you are part of either one of those housing authority communities and you would like to come and speak, or let us know your concerns, just connect with me or other members of the communities, please do. I would greatly appreciate it.
Mayor Pro Tem, floor is yours.
The thing about being in the middle is usually everybody's already said their comments, so I echo what all of you have said about our incredible staff. I mean, and also, Mayor, I wanted to publicly say, great job with the videos. I followed a lot of the comments on social media, and they were saying that they were extremely grateful for the transparency of this administration, and those videos were really helpful. So I hope you will continue to bless us with additional videos in the future, and the staff, because that was very informative. Again, congratulations to Jaron Reed with the Seattle Seahawks. I will tell you guys, I know absolutely nothing about football, but I loved watching that game just because of the community pride. He has done incredible achievement and brought great pride and inspiration to our community. March the 26th, we will have an annual Daddy-Daughter Dance over at the Goldsboro Recreation Center, Goldsboro Event Center, and so I want to encourage everybody to get signed up for that. In honor of Black History Month, I wanted to publicly call out to outstanding African American women that have really impacted my life. As a young girl, I used to walk to school on Herman Street, and I met this school teacher who was an African American woman, and it was one of the most difficult times of my life in middle school, and with all kinds of things that our family struggled with. And there was a school teacher, and I wish that I could have the opportunity, hopefully I'll have the opportunity to meet her again one day, but Miss Janet Barnes was her name, and she poured into me so much. And so I want to publicly thank her, because I would not be sitting in this seat today. I can tell you that, Miss Janet Barnes, if you had not poured into me, mentored me, loved me, empowered me, and encouraged me with all the difficulties that my family was walking out. The second one was a lady that I met named Miss Carol Battle Bell. And in high school, she also encouraged and influenced me and impacted me in many ways. And so in honor of National Black History Month, I just wanted to publicly thank these two ladies for all that you did and how your legacy has impacted my life. In my district, there is a group that meets on Saturdays. It's called the Hardee's Breakfast Club. They even have a plaque hanging up in Hardee's, and it's a group of men. And this group of men has really, really challenged me. They have encouraged me on the things that they think that we as a city council have gotten right. And then they have also snatched my biscuit away from me at times and said, no, you don't need to eat because these are the things you need to get right. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to those guys for the way that they pour into me on Saturday mornings. It's a men's Hardee's Breakfast Club. And so thank you guys again for the staff, how they helped us, and the city council, everything that you do. I'm proud to serve with you guys on a weekly basis. That's all I have.
Thank you, Person. Councilman, floor is yours.
No comment.
Councilman, floor is yours.
Yes, just a reminder, the Family Wire did owe some additional information about the Family Wire. So that'll be on the 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. All tickets have been taken care of. We just ask that you come in and show your presence and listen to what we're doing to revitalize the wire and try to take it to the next level. With Jan Reed, I did hear the mayor say that they was looking to try to celebrate him a little bit more. I would hope that would include a sign coming into our city limits, because that young man is not only a world champion, but he's a Division I and Division II national champion, and he is a graduate of Goldsboro High School who does a football camp every year and has given thousands of dollars to Goldsboro High School athletic program. So that's somebody that we should highlight and really ask our young men to strive to achieve. Congratulations to the workers, city workers. I did take some snapshots of them out there doing their thing, doing the snow. I saw those graders out there doing their thing. I got excited at being an old engineer. They was out there doing their thing, and with no frowns, they were just doing what they had to do to make sure that the city maintained themselves. Saw a lot of trucks with the plows on front of them doing their thing. And I thank God for them covering down for the state on those state roads. In my district specifically, because we have a lot of state roads and we see those roads not being plowed, we really thank God for them. I thank the police officers and all our city workers who were out there making sure and maintaining the city and making sure peace was still kept even in the harm's way. The sign at Resiliency Way on Berkeley Boulevard, it still says Central Heights. And I only know that because I had to go pick up a desk for Annie. And I got lost because I was looking for Resiliency Way. And then, last but not least, to Barbara, Nicole, and Lisa of Execute, who put on an outstanding play this weekend. 3 nights, 2 nights of which the house was packed. Saturday night was a nice crowd. Those kids did amazing. Awesome performance. That's what we can do when our community comes together and pour into our kids, because our kids, believe it or not, or whether we want to realize it or not, even those Funk Nation young men and girls, they are the future leaders of Goldsboro, North Carolina, and we must embrace them and continue to pour into them. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'm going to sound like a bit of a broken record. Thank you to everyone that put yourself out there in the inclement weather and discomfort and frustration, all the other fun stuff to make civilized life possible for the rest of us and get us back operating as quickly as possible. It did a yeoman's job. Everyone from officers and firefighters that were out, trying to lend a hand to EMS that was doing its thing, even while ambulances were sliding around on Wayne Memorial Drive. And then our guys going and trying to make a difference on Wayne Memorial Drive. So just a wonderful job there. On that point, y'all are giving me way too much credit. It needs to go to LaToya Henry, our public information officer. She made an incredible amount of work look easy, all from wherever her and her cell phone happened to be in her house, and she deserves the recognition and the praise for that. I'm happy to do my part of it. The citizen survey said we want to see more direct things, so I was happy to contribute. But that's LaToya Henry, hearing the call and answering it. So praise and gratitude to her. Next, going back to Black History Month, if you're hearing this, take time and go by the museum this month. This is a really, really strong month at the Wayne County Museum. You need to go. You need to check out some of the programming. You need to look and see the books that they have on sale there. You need to go learn your history. I'll leave it at that so I don't go on a rant. But last, I'm going to go back to Art Execute. Councilman White already mentioned this. Absolutely fantastic. I was fortunate to be able to go to the 2 o'clock yesterday. and just enjoyed every second of it. Congratulations to those boys and girls, to their families, and of course to the adults who probably enjoyed it even more than the kids, if we're honest. 'Cause that's kind of how it works sometimes. And then last thing from me, all you folks that are out there coaching right now, Parks and Recreation, I see the adults, I see the parents, I see the coaches. The kids are having a blast. The adults are getting into it. If you want to make a difference in a kid's life, go and help them with a play like Art Execute, or go and volunteer, get a group of kids from your church and go and coach them in a basketball team or a flag football team or whatever's coming up next over at P&R. Check on your neighbors, check on those around you, and if you can, pour into them a little bit. You never really know when you're making a difference that's going to be remembered for the rest of someone's life. So with that, council will entertain a motion to go into closed session, I believe a brief closed session, to discuss personnel matter.
So moved.
All right. Motion's been made and properly seconded to go into closed session to discuss a matter related to personnel. There's no discussion on a right to go, or on a motion to go into closed session, so we'll call the vote by show of hands. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing one, motion passes on a 6-1 vote. All right, we're going into closed session. We take a quick restroom break. Yeah, quick restroom break, and then we'll convene in the anteroom. We are adjourned. See everyone on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Retreat.
I'm like,